Hi, I'm Crystal. Today we're going to be making completely hidden paper clips. And the trick to these is foam tape. So I needed to make some hidden paper clips for a swap that I'm in. It's the Cupid's Arrows swap hosted by Martha Makes Art and Jennifer at Scrapbooks and Memories. And so I feel like I watched every tutorial on YouTube about hidden paper clips, and I saw people using jewelry glue and clamping stuff, and y'all crazy. I feel like foam tape is a really obvious solution here, and I did not see a single tutorial using foam tape, and I'm not really sure why that is. Maybe I just missed it, or maybe the people making the hidden paper clips did not come to junk journaling by way of scrapbooking. But the basic concept here is to make a strip of paper into a W, and then put the paper clip at the top of the fold, and then you can completely conceal it within the paper. So it's very straightforward, really just putting this paper clip inside the paper and then covering it up and decorating it. That's a 2-inch paper clip, and the strip of paper is 1.5 inches wide by 8.5 inches long. Now you can see if you just glue it that you end up with something that's kind of lumpy and bumpy, and that's where the foam tape comes in. So I've got some strips of foam tape, and I cut those off the roll to the right size for this little hidden paper clip using non-stick scissors. And that is key if you're going to work with foam tape, because if you don't use non-stick scissors, you will be sad later. That foam tape is really sticky, and it will get all over your scissors, and it's just a real pain to get back off. But if you use your non-stick scissors and cut the strips, you just put the strips right alongside the paper clip, and the foam tape is deep enough that you cannot feel the paper clip through the layer of paper. It's completely concealed. So I'm just using my craft pick to take the non-stick layer off this foam tape. And of course the foam tape is just weather stripping foam tape, or like the foam tape you would use to hold up a poster, just like the stuff you get at the hardware store. So the craft versions come in a wider variety of widths and depths and colors. I mean, you can get black or black foam tape, or you can get it pre-cut into various size pieces, but essentially it is the same stuff you get at the hardware store. And I got into paper crafts originally through scrapbooking in the 1990s, and so I was there the first time we had this craze for buying craft supplies at the hardware store. So any of you guys who went through this same period will remember it started out with the drywall mesh, and the drywall mesh was everywhere. And then we went from the drywall mesh to the weather stripping tape. And so the weather stripping tape, as it turns out, had staying power. So you can see that paper clip works great, even though it's completely concealed. You can still see the top of the paper clip, but we're gonna address that next. So I'm just gonna make a couple more of these little blanks by folding my paper W's and putting the paper clip inside, and then putting that little bit of foam tape off to attach the legs so that it's concealed. So the beauty of working on this silicone surface, the silicone baking mat, of course, is this foam tape does not even stick to it. So I can cut my little pieces and peel them right off that silicone work surface very easily. So I believe the tape that I'm working with today is actually from Arteza. But if you've got 3M weather stripping out in your garage, I'm telling you that it's the same stuff. So use what you have. Don't go shopping unless you just really want to get a particular width or pre-cut piece, because the pre-cut pieces are handy if you don't have the non-stick scissors. Okay, so now I'm going to decorate the top so we don't see that paper clip, and I'm using the branding page from this paper collection. So for this particular application, the actual decorative cardstock would be too heavy, but this little bit of branding is perfect. So I'm just covering my little paper clip blank with some glue stick, and then I'm putting this little strip that I've trimmed down to 1.5 inches wide over the paper, and I'm making that fold over the top of the paper clip. That's why the cardstock would be a little bit too heavy. It would not it would not fold well over the top. This is not an occasion for a sharp crease. We just have a gentle fold. And now that paper clip is just completely concealed. You can't feel a lump, you can't see a bump, you can't see it from the side. That paper clip is not going anywhere. I did not need any jewelry glue. I didn't need to clip anything. And so up to this point, this is about a 15-minute project. It was very quick, but I'm going to add a little bit of a decorative topper, and that adds about another 15 minutes to the project. So I'm taking my heart-shaped punch, and I'm going to punch out a bunch of just the top of the heart. So that's going to sit on top of the paper clip, and I just punched out a bunch, and then I'm kind of gauging until I've got a stack that's about the same height as my paper clip, just a little bit shorter. And so that's going to vary depending on a whole bunch of different factors. But for me, after I worked out the right height of little punch pieces, it ended up being about 15 half pieces of punch. So I wasn't particularly careful about how much of the heart I punched out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these together with glue stick, 2 or 3 at a time, and then I'm going to use my scissors to trim those pieces to a pretty consistent height. It does not need to be exact. Having a little bit of a ragged edge is just fine. I'm just going to make sure that I pick out any outliers so that we've got, you know, a pretty good stack that's mostly the same depth from top to the bottom. Once I've got everything trimmed down so that it's a pretty consistent size, then I'll glue these pieces together to make one big stack. And then that big stack I'm going to decorate with some red hearts on both sides. So this was super easy to do because of course those punches are identical. And you could do it with a die, but I think that doing it with a die would take a lot longer than using a punch. So once I've got these all stacked up, we will go on and do the final decorative layer. Just trimming these down, close is good enough, and then getting them into the final stack. Get plenty of little wiggle time using the glue stick, so that worked out really pretty well. And you can see that that's not quite perfect on the edge, but close enough. All right, now I'm going to just trim off this overhang because I did not measure my decorative strip for length, just for width. And then I'm going to attach these decorative top hearts. So I've got 6 of them because I have 3 paper clips, and I'm going to turn the heart over onto the back and apply my glue stick pretty generously to the heart. And then I'm going to set my little half punch stack onto the heart. And once I've got that kind of wiggled into place, make sure it's aligned with my punch. Then I'm going to just put the paper clip butted up against that stack. Once I get the heart on both sides of this, that paper clip is absolutely invisible. So now that I've got this, these all attached, I'm going to do the second side, just a generous coating of glue stick, and then I'm going to stick that on and make sure I wiggle it into place so that it lines up with my punch. And there we go. Really easy project, really did not take very long. Like I said, about 30 minutes to make 3 of these, beginning to end. Half of that was the decorative topper, and half of that was the completely concealed paper clip. And I think these turned out really cute. And you absolutely cannot tell that there's a paper clip in there at all. Now I think that just decorative top paper clips are also nice, but this is just completely hidden. It's completely smooth on both sides. You can't see the paper clip from the top, you can't see the paper clip from the sides, but the paper clip action still works just fine. So, I know there's a wealth of hidden paperclip tutorials out there, but I hope this one brought a little something new to the table. I certainly enjoyed making the project, and I really thank you for joining me today. I hope you guys have a wonderful afternoon. Thanks.